What's up, YouTube fans? Today I'm reviewing the Maketoys Meteor, their version of Starscream. Yes, I know this is an older figure. It came out a while ago. I finally got my hands on it. It is pretty cool. I'm going to talk about some of the ups and downs, but let's first take a look at the packaging. So, by the way, I don't have any Maketoys stuff. This is kind of my first Maketoys figure. I had something Maketoys a long time ago. It was their Laser Optimus Prime set, and it was good, but I got out of that, I guess it was Chug Scale, and now I'm only collecting Masterpiece. So I didn't really need it. I sold it. I haven't really bought anything Maketoys since then. So this was kind of the first thing that caught my eye, and so I bought it. So for the packaging, you got a nice image of the product on the front. Nothing really on the side. MTRM-11. And here's some product shots on the back, and this is where this thing kind of shines, is the articulation. We'll go over that. It does come with an alternate head and some other things, so we'll take a look at all of that. Pretty nice packaging. I don't mind it. Good quality box. And here we have Maketoys Meteor out of his box, and it really looks beautiful. It doesn't come packed in this mode. I'm going to start from vehicle mode because that's what I like to do. But here is his jet mode. It does not come with a flight stand. It just comes like this. I've got the landing gear down here. So one of the nice things about this vehicle mode is the paint. It's well painted. So you got some red paint here. You've got this copper gold color on the cockpit, which I think it looks a lot better than the Takara version. We will bring in the Takara version in a second here, but you've got kind of a unique paint job here on the wings, and overall it's got this glossy white color. You know, it's not really the flat or the swirly plastic you see on the Takara version. Here's the bottom of the figure, pretty clean. I mean, you can tell there's legs and everything, but and there's a waist, but who's looking at the bottom, right? I mean, it looks pretty good. Couple of my gripes. Well, let's bring in the Takara version. Here's the Takara version. And actually, there are some things that are done better by the Takara version. So first of all, you just saw the landing gear fell down. That's one of the problems. This landing gear, especially the rear one, is very unstable. It just kind of falls down when you put too much pressure, or actually very little pressure on it. The Takara one's a little bit more stable. You know, it's got these, and these wheels actually roll. These wheels don't roll. So that's kind of one of my gripes with this figure, is it's not very realistic in jet mode. A lot of people don't really care about jet mode, honestly. They keep everything in robot mode. I tend to transfer things back and forth. I do like having nice alt modes, and I think this is a good alt mode. But there's a few things that bother me about it. So number one is this landing gear that kind of pops in and out. If I had a flight stand, or this came with a flight stand, I think it'd be fine. I don't even need the landing gear. I could just put it on the flight stand and make it look like it's flying, and that would be fine. But no flight stand came with this. I don't even have one that fits this, so that's kind of a bummer. Number two is this whole nose cone is just kind of a mess. It's kind of loose. It never really gets solidified. I mean, you can kind of tab everything in, but it's always a little bit loose, and it never felt like it was solid. This nose cone, you know, it actually snapped in right here, and you did have the little radar dish. You don't really need that. I don't care about that. You do have the opening cockpit with the seat in it. This cockpit, there is no seat. You could probably put a guy in there. Actually, let's take a look. I do have a little Archiville guy here, and he does fit, but he's kind of got to lie down. He doesn't really go in there, honestly. You can get him in there, but he's rattling around. He's not meant to go in there. So some little details that I think Takara got right is the cockpit. You know, they really were going for the accurate vehicle modes back then, right? They were really going for the let's go as accurate as you can with the real life thing, and this is pretty good for an F-15. It looks pretty good. You know, it doesn't have all the little kibbly pieces that you've got. A couple other things that are nice on this Takara version is the air brake. You've got this little air brake thing right here, which is cool. It's got a little piston. You know, they didn't really need to include that, but they threw that in. You got the adjustable thrusters here. You do have the landing gear that kind of folds up. And then the guns actually can fold forward. So you can have like a forward positioned, cannons. That, they do look better underneath the wings. Did not come with missiles with this guy. Some of the KOs came with missiles, but this one didn't. You do have flaps that kind of fold up and down. That's really it for the vehicle mode details. Overall, pretty nice, but I think the Takara version has got a little edge in vehicle mode. So one of my issues is this. The wings have this, I mean, that's for transformation, but it's kind of ugly. You've got this extra joint here, and I don't really like the look of that. Same here, you've got that little extra joint there. I would have liked if they could have figured a way not to have that in there. I don't know how you could have done it, but it makes this really kind of floppy, especially when you're playing with it, you're posing it. It just sort of moves around on you. Again, these are not posable like the other one. They do, for transformation, they rotate, but for vehicle mode, they don't really do anything. I don't know if that was a feature of the F-15 or not, if the thrusters were aimable. I would imagine that they were, but I have no idea. I'm not a plane guy. You can move these, but only up and down, like so. They're really meant to just stay there in vehicle mode. Now you can pull off these front parts here, and you can put on the shorter sort of missile pieces there, and that does look nice. I'm definitely going to keep the null rays. For me, that's the better look. So there's the null ray, there's the missile. But I think the null ray is the better look. So that's really it for vehicle mode. There's not much else to look at here. Let's take a quick look at the cartoon version of Starscream here. I think this will be the winner with cartoon accuracy, just because of the color scheme. But in terms of the paint job, especially on the rear wings, the rear stabilizer wings, I think the Takara version's got him there. Alright, let's get this guy transformed into robot mode and check him out. And we'll compare him to the official Takara. Probably the worst thing about this transformation is the nose cone, because it's got this C-clip that always falls off, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But one thing I forgot to mention in vehicle mode is these wing fillers. So I bought this, I think from Cybertron Cafe, and it came with these wing fillers pre-installed. I imagine, this is not a big deal for me, but I know a lot of people didn't like that. And the fact that you had to go off and buy it separately, people were kind of mad about that. I do like the wing filler, but I don't think it would have been a big issue for me if I didn't have the wing filler. But I like the fact that this has them, because it just makes it complete. They should have really included that with the original figure. But that's really it for the vehicle. So let's start transforming. So first you got to take these null rays off. You can actually leave them on, but it just, it's easier to just get them out of the way. The first thing I'm going to do is take care of this nose cone. So open these up, and there is a way to transform this without taking it apart, but I find that this nose cone is probably the most irritating thing of the entire transformation. So I'm going to show you my way, which is to remove the nose cone completely, and then put it back on when you're done. Okay, so that's not the transformation according to the actual instructions, but that's how I think it's just easier. Oops. So you open up this here, and you pull off the bottom part here. It's kind of attached to his head. And looks like we popped his face off, so you can just pop that right back on if it comes off. There you go. Alright, so now that we've done that, we can open this up and just leave this separate right now. Actually, we can transform this too. So flip this around. lay that down. And then this nose cone is going to go inside, and basically it's going to sit like that. And there's the C-clip, or there's the actual peg, but the C-clip is over here. Leave it off for now because it's just a pain in the ass. It constantly falls off. Alright, so leave this kind of folded up for now. We'll deal with that in a second. Next, we can kind of take the wings apart. So you can just kind of pull them off. They're attached right here. And I did kind of pull that pretty forcefully, so you want to be careful. Don't be manhandling it, but you do want to separate the wings. And this is very similar to the official Takara, the way these wings, but they work a lot better and a lot more sturdy than the official. Okay, so now you've separated those wings. Now you can get the whole torso kind of done. So lift up this torso piece, not torso, I'm sorry, the waist piece here, so it's not attached. It is originally attached to the arms, and that will free up the arms. So open up these two panels right here, and now you should be able to fold these hands out. Actually, just so we're not fighting with this wing, let's put the wings up. So there's a little tab there, it goes into there. I like that system a little bit better than the car version because it's you don't have to fold out the tab. The tab is already there, so it goes in nice and easy, and it doesn't flop around. Although once I say that, it's probably gonna flop around. All right, so now that you got the arms out, you can push these up. They slide up there, and now you're gonna fold these. Fold these panels down. These are the side hip skirts on both sides. And now you can fold out this abdomen piece here. And this kind of folds over and produces his left side abdomen. It's a little tricky to get it all folded properly, so you kind of want to get this. Make sure the arm is all the way up, otherwise you won't be able to fold this out. It'll just block it. So push that out of the way, and now you can get this folded in here, and it just kind of sits right like that. Okay. Same on the other side. Push this panel up, pull this down, open that, and there you go. So now that you've done that, you can fold his arms out, fold his hands out, and pull the arms down. They just extend. And now we can take care of this whole thing. Actually, leave these out a little bit because you do have to peg them in. So sorry, leave those out and leave this a little room because this is it's all gonna peg to this piece. So flip this around. It's got a little squeaky going. And then this piece is gonna lift up. So this is the fake cockpit that kind of folds out. The rest of the cockpit, remember, is over here. So, and now you got the chest piece. That's his front chest piece, and that's going to fold down kind of on itself. So get this all situated, and it kind of accordions in onto itself. Okay, and you should be able to get it to sit nice and flush. If you can't get it to sit flush, then you don't have something right. And actually, I can't get it to sit flush. Okay, so there you go. And it should actually go inside here, so we've got this wrong. So fold this part in, because you're going to have another fake piece for the cockpit down here as part of the waist. So that piece goes in. Now you can fold it all the way down, and it sits flush and flat inside there. And that's to allow you to mate these pegs with those slots there. Okay, so now you can fold those in and peg that together. It does peg nice and securely there. Okay, same thing on this side. Push that in and get those pegged in. It is a pretty tight space to work in, but it works. You can do it. Okay, so close that up. Now you're going to close this, and it's going to mate with this tab here. So push that down. Same on this side, push that down. That one was already in. Now you can lift these pieces back up. And now you're going to fold his entire waist in. So that just accordions down like that. Okay. Now we're going to work the legs. So pull the legs apart. Oops. Loosen that wing. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. So open up these panels here and pull the legs apart. And now you can start these legs. So pull up on this panel right here. That will separate and give you access to the inner leg there. So you're going to fold out like that. And it does tab in the front here. You'll feel the leg tab in. You'll hear it click like I just did. You're going to fold up this tail piece here and you're going to push it up. And that'll allow you to close this entire thing. You also need to flip up this piece right here. And that's what creates the tab for this whole thing to close down. So now you can close this down. Make sure you get this slot on this tab. And then on the front, make sure you get this slot on this tab right here. Okay? So there's basically two tabs, and it fits nice and secure. If it doesn't fit securely, then you've done something wrong. It should just tab right in there. And now you got a nice tight leg. So same thing on this side. Now that's all tabbed in. Now you can fold these wings down. And you're going to accordion this feet down like that. So kind of lift up, push out, down until you get them. You can kind of get them like that. Okay, so now you get the good feet. So we're in the home stretch here. So you can push these up. That gives you a little more clearance on the bottom. Push these side pieces all the way up. Okay, and that clears the bottom of these tail fins. And so now you can kind of stand them up, and we're almost there. Now you can leave this piece off if you want to and just have it like that with the nose cone cover here closed, and I think that actually looks really nice and clean having it that way. But that's not the official transformation. Official transformation is you got to take this and connect it to that C-clip. And this is the biggest weakness of this entire figure, is that C-clip, because it's so loose this thing comes off. And that was my #1 complaint when I got this, but you can take this off and just have it closed and nice and clean, and it does look very clean. So I do like that look better. But for the purpose of this review, I'm going to do the official transformation. Last piece I just did it without saying anything. I pushed these down on a slider, so these wings slide down, and that kind of lines everything up. And you can kind of angle these out a little bit. Close these flaps here for that signature Starscream look. Okay, and you can kind of flare those out however you want. And here we have Starscream all transformed up. Oh, you do want to have these too. So these are the null rays. You want those on there for sure. These have a lot of articulation on them themselves, which is nice. You can open them up, you can kind of twist them around, but I like it like that. Just the hands to the front. And there you have the Maketoys Masterpiece Starscream all transformed up. And let's just get him cleaned up here. And there you go. I love this figure. I think it's such a beautifully done, beautifully sculpted figure. Let's bring in the official MP11. And just to be fair, you know, we've got these wings all the way up. That's about as far as they go on their hinge. And then this one, you can go all the way up to there, and you can go back. So it's got a lot of you know, choice for how you can display this. Okay. Now, let's take a look at the G1 figure here, or the G1 animation. And to me, this one definitely hits the mark a little bit closer than this one. This one's got a lot of like sculpted detail and stuff like that. And I think that was nice back when they were doing the vehicle accurate, you know, the less cartoon accurate and the more vehicle accurate figures back when they were doing MP10 and this was MP11, so it was the second one after after MT10, and that was great at that time. But now that we've headed in the more cartoon accurate, cartoon looking animation figures, I think this fits in a lot better with our collections, and I definitely like the look of this. I actually like the solid gold color or copper colored chest instead of this clear. Now the clear definitely looks more accurate to a real, F-15, but this just looks better in the painted stuff. And actually there's a lot of paint on this guy, so let's take a look. So these are metal die cast, these are painted. This waist piece is painted. I believe down here you've got paint on the feet, on these pieces here. I can't tell if this plastic is just glossy or painted, but to me it looks really good, so it doesn't really matter whether it's painted or not. It's got the look that I want. It's got that, it looks like it's shiny and it's out of the cartoon, and that's what I want. I like something that stands out on the shelf. So let's go over articulation. I'm just going to leave this guy in the background here, and we'll take a look at this guy. So arms goes all the way up to there. It does rotate all the way around. It is obviously hindered by the wings, but that's true for any of these Starscream. It's a soft ratchet on going this way, and this is just friction. You do have articulation here. You can get this kind of any position. You can also switch out these null rays, but it doesn't really make sense. This is the character accurate weapon. He doesn't come with any guns or anything. He does come with a couple alternate faces. We'll take a look at those in a minute. So that's it for the arm. You do have a rotation at the bicep. You have a double jointed elbow. It gets you all the way up to there. Very nice. It's the same as MP11, so it's not an improvement, but I'm just glad that they've retained that. You do have this back flap here, and you can have it down. It doesn't really affect anything. You can't see it, but I think I would prefer, almost like on Ultra Magnus, I'd prefer that just to be out of the way. You do have a rotation at the wrist. You have single pinned bottom fingers and then a double pinned pointer finger, so you can get him sort of pointing. It's kind of a crooked finger, but you can get it. He's got that crooked finger. Here's the face sculpt. I think this is, I forgot to show you articulation. The head is actually hindered by this stupid C-clip on the back. I really don't like that. I don't like that C-clip is causing multiple issues, right? It's not only is it in the way for transformation, but it also hinders the head from looking upwards. It can only look downwards, and I think that was a mistake. I don't know why they chose to do it that way. I thought they could have engineered that a little bit better. But that's really like my main only gripe with articulation is right there on the head. But it does rotate all the way around. It looks down plenty. It doesn't really look up. So that's really it for the hands and the arms and the head. So let's take a look at the waist. You do have hip skirts here and on the side. Oops. Looks like we... Uh-oh. Well, that sucks. It looks like this hip skirt just broke. Wow. That broke very easily. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, so I just broke the hip skirt right here. The plastic just sheared at that joint. I definitely should have been a little more careful with that. I didn't realize how thin that plastic was. This is a very, very small piece holding that on. That kind of sucks. I don't know. I don't like that. Well, I don't know. That's disappointing. You do have a really nice ab crunch here. Goes all the way down like that. And you can actually get even more if you lift it up a little bit. That is part of transformation, but it also is a nice, really nicely done ab crunch. It does have this piece that moves up and down to kind of accommodate, you know, if you move the waist, but it's a little like finicky. You know, it's hard to get it to look right, and then this thing kind of falls down. So if you're trying to mate it up and you have the top piece up higher, it doesn't stay. It kind of falls down. And it breaks up the sculpt when it falls down. So you kind of have to have this all the way down, and that's really the only choice you have. There's probably a fix for this on like TFW. I don't know what it is yet. If somebody knows the fix, either shoot me a link or just leave a comment below and let me know how do you fix this waist piece from falling down. This really sucks, but although it only looks bad from the side, I probably can glue this back on, but that did break. So legs, you get pretty good articulation. You have a soft ratchet all the way up to there. You have a back all the way back out to the side on a friction joint. You do have a double jointed knee. There's one in here and there's one up here. So plenty of articulation on that knee and the leg. You do have a ankle pivot. It's a little bit hindered. It kind of hits the plastic here, but you got plenty, right? You probably don't need any more of that. Actually, that goes pretty far. That's pretty good. And you do get this toe can articulate a little bit, so you can kind of get it out, but it's not really an ankle tilt. You only have the ankle rocker. But you don't really need it, honestly. And this is one of the advantages that this guy has over MP11. Is this guy didn't have any articulation on the ankles, and you kind of could move these, but that was about it. And so his stability was very limited. You can only have certain poses with him. I do like the Takara head sculpt. Let's bring them both in real close. I do like the Takara head sculpt a little bit better. This guy tends to be a little bit too small in terms of his head sculpt. I feel like the Takara is kind of the right size and the right color paint. This one's a little, maybe it's, actually the Takara one's pretty dark too. I don't know. I don't know if it's darkness or just maybe the shine of it. It should have been a little shinier so it could stand out. But it does look good in person. It's just hard to show on camera because it's such a dark paint. But that's really it for articulation. Oh, I forgot about these wings. So the wings, let's fold this down. Man, I'm really disappointed about this. Assuming I can fix it, but still shouldn't have to, right? These wings go up and down. They go all the way up to there, and they do rotate in and out. Looks like there's a limit to how far it can go, but that's enough. That's all you need, really. Just get a little bit of angle back, and I think that makes this figure look really good, is when you have it angled back like that. Back and up a tiny bit. And I thought that was an improvement over this for sure. Now, it doesn't have the loose, it's nice and solid in terms, and it's heavy. It's a lot heavier than this guy, which is mostly plastic. There's a little bit of die cast in the core, but there's no die cast for his parts. This guy's got some die cast inside his core, his legs. I think these are die cast. These are die cast. Feet don't feel like die cast. But he definitely has more than the MP11. So I think that was another improvement, is having all that die cast. Kind of gives it a little bit of weight. It feels good in hand. The plastic also feels a lot better. This had that swirly gray plastic. It doesn't feel good to the touch. This has that nice smooth plastic that feels good to the touch. So let's take a look at all of the face sculpt accessories. Here he is with his yelling, wide open mouth face. It is painted inside the mouth, so that looks pretty cool. I still think I like the smirk better, but there he is with that face. Here he is with the regular smiling face. This one's okay. It's definitely not my favorite, but there that is. Here he is with his choking head. I don't have the Maketoys Megatron, so that's the best I can do. And that looks okay. I mean, obviously I'm not going to use it because I don't have the other figure, but it does articulate a little bit. I do like that it can look up, but I wish the other head sculpt could look up. But that's it for all the head and face sculpts. There he is back with the smirking face, which for me I think is the best one. So we're going to leave that one on. And that's really it. That's all the accessories you guys comes with. Honestly, I do think this is better than MP11. You know, MP11 is a classic, and you know, it was great for the time. You know, when it came out, it was definitely impressive in terms of the engineering. But it's definitely dated at this point. You know, the mold is just, it doesn't match up or meet up to the other third-party companies who have come out with much better solutions for this MP11 mold, especially this Maketoys one. This is my favorite one, and that's kind of telling. You know, I think Takara will probably release a new mold for Starscream yet again. This will be the third round for them. Because that's a moneymaker for them. They know they can make money. Just like they just re-released Bumblebee. That's a very popular character. The Seekers and Starscream are very popular characters. So it's almost guaranteed they're going to re-release them. But I honestly think this is a very good option for people that don't want to wait for Takara and want something premium, want something better than MP11, want something that fits in with the collection, the current collection of the more cartoon accurate look. I think this is a good option. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.